If you're a fan of Nollywood, then you already know Funke Akindele is the queen of box office. I mean, from A Tribe Called Judah to Everyone Loves Jennifer and her latest movie, Finding Me, which is currently available on Prime and which is what we are going to be discussing today. Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Iwara. Thank you so much for joining me on today's video. If you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe, and if you're already a part of the family, like I always say, I do not take your support for granted. Today we are going to be discussing Funke Akindele's new movie Finding Me, which is available on Prime. This review is going to be in 3 parts. First of all, I'm going to be giving a brief synopsis of the movie, and then I'm going to be discussing some issues that were raised in the movie, and then I'm going to be sharing some of my favorite parts, some of my favorite characters, and then we are going to be winding it down like that.
Okay. My wife, my baby, my peace, my safe place. Baby, I can't wait to hold you in my arms and kiss you so passionately. For love,
So first of all, a brief introduction of the movie Finding Me. Finding Me is about Tinuke Phillips, played by Funke Akindele, who is married to Kola Phillips, played by Joseph Benjamin. I mean, it was so good to see Joseph Benjamin because, I mean, he has been out of our screens for a long time. Anyway, I digress. So the movie just follows their life. Funke Akindele is successful business-wise. She helps her father run, his company. She has an elder brother. She has a mother, and then, but family-wise, her husband is very critical of her dressing, of her body size, and constantly berates her, telling her to go and get BBL, telling her, she doesn't look good, he's only with her because she knows how to cook. He has numerous girlfriends, numerous affairs, one of which was her employee, collects money from her, which kind of ruined the relationship she had with her father. She has a son, which we later found out was adopted. I don't want to give the whole movie out, but long story short, her husband is a narcissist, and a lot of things happen in the course of the movie to finally open her eyes. So Finding Me is actually just the story of her finding herself. That is, a woman regaining her confidence, regaining her power, taking it all in, and just being her own person, and not just shrinking herself to fit the ideal or to fit her husband's ideal. Beautiful story. I love the idea of the movie, and now we are going to be discussing some of the issues that were brought up in the movie. The first one we are going to be talking about is self-confidence. I mean, that is the whole idea of the movie. It follows Tinuke Phillips, like I said earlier, how she was able to find herself, having the support of her friends, having the support of her family, and it also took her seeing herself in the eyes of somebody else for her to really appreciate and find out who she is, which I think is really big, and I like the fact that this movie actually pursued this idea. The next one I'm going to be talking about is mental and emotional abuse. I mean, her husband constantly talked her down, even in the presence of her son, and there was a time when her son was had issues in school because he talked down on somebody. And I mean, I like the fact that they just like mirrored the fact that, oh, he sees his dad doing this, and that is why the son is already picking up on this habit, and it also pairs up with another point I wanted to raise, which is the fact that the African view on marriage, like once you are married, no divorce, because Atinuke mentioned it a couple of times to her friend Sarah, played by Omowunmi, that my dad, he doesn't support divorce, he doesn't support separation in marriage. Once you are married, you are married. And when you talk about emotional and mental abuse, this is something that is not always visible. If it's physical abuse, they can see that, oh, this person slapped you, or you have a cut on your eye, or you have broken bones. But when it has to do with your psyche, when it has to do with your mental health and the rest, it's not something that you can really, it's not something that people can see, and there are times when, I mean, we've all heard this, in movies and even in real life, they say, is he beating you? No, he's not beating you. Is he taking care of the children? Yes, he's taking care of the children. So why do you want to leave? Because marriage is not just about the man taking care of the children, you know, paying their school fees and things like that. And it's not just about him not, and it's not just about him not beating you. There's mental and emotional abuse that are not physical. Like, you need to be in that space, or you need to be somebody who has experienced that kind of thing to be able to see that this is wrong and this is not helping the individual involved in that situation in any way. I also love the fact that this movie raises awareness about this kind of topic. The next issue I'm going to be talking about is about Anthony, which is played by Iwara. Yeah, I hope I'm correct. And Ndidi, which is played by Omowunmi, which is, should you shoulder financial responsibilities for somebody you are not married to? If you should, how far should you go? Now, in the movie, we found out later, you know, that she was actually scamming him, and her mom was not really sick. You know, she was just collecting money from him because she and her family wanted to jackpot. So everybody was in on the scam apart from him. And then there were scenes where he was saying, mommy, mama, don't worry, you know, I'm your son. I'm going to get the money. I'm going to get the money. I think I've seen that clip before. And when I saw that clip, I thought Anthony was actually, you know, the woman's son, only for me to watch it and find out that, oh, it's just her daughter's fiance, you know, and that they were scamming him. Let me know what you guys think. Should you shoulder your partner's financial responsibilities, you know, without the commitment of marriage? And if you should, how far, you know, can you go? Because it was like all the bills, he was the one paying it. Dropped 2 million today, dropped 500k. In fact, there was one time that he dropped 500k, and then into this brother played by Emeka, you know, he just like gambles the money away. 500,000 naira that was supposed to be for their mom's supposedly that was supposed to be for their mom's cancer treatment. That caused, you know, a whole another issue between the siblings. You know, you guys should go and watch the movie and find that out. If we also come back to Funke Akindele's character and Joseph Benjamin's character, we also see that she was also constantly giving him money, you know, shouldering his financial responsibilities in marriage, you know. And this is not if a woman should give her husband money, but is in marriage. Now we are talking of his business, you know, constantly needing money, constantly asking for huge sums, and when he's like she can't afford to give him that money, he becomes very angry, becomes snappy, you know, he just mistreats her. And then when he sees that, oh, the money is available or the money is coming, you know, he starts to treat her nice. And it was quite painful to watch. At a point I was really angry, like, can't you open your eyes and can't you see? Something else I want to point out is that this movie is quite long. It's about 2 hours 30 minutes. You know, it starts really fast. After a while, it gets to a point where it seems like it's dragging, but there are just a lot of things happening. A lot of things are just happening, and then we get to the end. Now, that middle part where there were a lot of complications, I had some issues with it, and I'm going to talk about it. First of all, Kola Phillips and his doctor friend, I've forgotten the doctor's name now, but he's a quite popular actor, Dr. Alex, I think, but I've forgotten his real name. Yes, he and his friend Kola Phillips, or let me say Kola Phillips and his friend Dr. Alex, yeah, they had a lot of secrets. Now, the first one is that Kola is infertile, which the wife doesn't know about, and they kept the secrets from her for about 10 years. There was also the issue of the doctor not having his medical license to be able to operate a hospital. There was also the issue of blackmail from Ndidi, and she was blackmailing Anthony, and then she was also blackmailing Kola. Like, there was also the issue of Kola and the doctor lying to Atinuke that fallopian tubes were blocked. There was just a lot of complications to paint Kola Phillips part, and honestly, I did not think that they needed to go that far. There was also the issue of having to blackmail. Oh no, not blackmail now. There was also the issue of having to set up Anthony for the death of Ndidi. Like it was just a lot for me at the end. You know, I get it that, you know, they were trying to like build suspense and like just so that at the end of the day everything will now come together, but there was just a lot of complications for me. This is not to say that the movie is not interesting. It's actually interesting, but I just feel that some of all those complications, like, there was no need for Anthony to be set up for the death of Ndidi, and I also think that there was no need for Ndidi to come and blackmail Anthony. Okay, yeah, there was no need for her, because now you're now trying to link it to the end that, oh, because she came to blackmail him, then is a suspect in her death. Like, I mean, I didn't buy that at all. I just feel that like a better job could have been done to link all those things together if they actually wanted to show how bad, you know, the narcissism of Kola is. You know, it was just it was a lot for me at the end. Whew. Now we're talking about some people that stood out for me. The first person I'm going to be talking about is Sarah, played by Omowunmi, who is supposedly a best friend of Tinuke Phillips. You know, she came into the movie, and the way it was shown is like she has been off for a long time, but there was also some breaks in their relationship. I mean, if you say somebody is your best friend, then there are some things that I did not feel that Tinuke should have kept from her friend if they were really that close. I don't know if it was just to build up to that point that, oh, I'm just finding out now, oh wow, he's such a devil, he's such a this. Like, it didn't really gel for me like that, oh, she's your paddy, people have known since childhood, you have even known before she got married to this man. So no, if it wasn't mentioned that they've been childhood friends, I think it would have been more believable that, you know, she kept some things away from her. And also the idea of, oh, you gave birth in London when you would have given birth in New Zealand. I mean, that was just a reach. That was just a reach. Personally, that is what I think. The next person I'm going to be talking about is Dotto, played by Femi Adebayo. I feel like I should clap for him because every scene that he was in was really, really beautiful for me to watch. Like, I really enjoyed watching him, you know, and it was just beautiful for me to watch. For me, I think he was like my favorite. And then in between there was like a long break that we did not see his face, and I was like, oh, you should bring Dotto to the screen now. But it was good to know that at the end of the day, you know, Dotto showed up again, and then he got into this big fight with Kola, and that fight scene that fight scene was quite funny, you know, because I was like, how many, you know, flower vases do they have in this house that they keep stoning each other? Oh my god, it was a delight to watch in the movie. Another part where I actually liked him was when he and his father were exchanging words. I think I'm going to leave a clip of that here.
My father's house? In your what? You are a tenant. Go and build your own. Go and build your own house. You are still a tenant. A tenant at 40 is a tenant forever.
Really love that part. Another part I wanted to bring out that made me laugh was when Atinuke was, let me say, confessing to Sarah, and then Sarah was like, are you dumb?
Color this, color that. Everything is color. Are you dumb?
Yes. I'm sorry, Dad.
You know, like that question, like she actually needed it, because it just felt like a whole circle. You are seeing this guy mistreat you, you are seeing this guy cheat on you, and you kept, you know, it was like a delusion for me. Like, you kept just insisting that, oh, he loves me, we are working on our marriage, things are going to get better, and it was not getting better, but you were still choking your head there. And I mean, even when her husband and the doctor, you know, planned to, you know, I don't know if I can say this word here on YouTube, like, a plan to abort the baby, you know, without her knowledge, and then, you know, her driver, Semyung, played by Cute Abiola, yeah, it was played by Cute Abiola. Driver Semu, you know, told her about it, and she, you know, got angry. She didn't want to believe it. She was just living in that delusion that, no, you know, I'm working on my marriage, everything is okay, or everything is going to be okay. And I'm like, that question, are you dumb? It was really needed. It was really needed at that point, you know. Another scene that really touched me was the hospital scene, which was like at the end when you know, Anthony came to visit her in the hospital. Her brother was there, her mom was there. Like, for some reason I just got teary, because, you know, when she came to herself, the first thing she asked about was if the baby is okay, and, you know, it just got me really emotional, you know, just that part. I'm not a crybaby. And then just to see the relationship she had with her brother, because all through in the movie it just showed like they were at loggerheads, but that part just showed something about siblings. You know, me and you can be fighting you, but nobody else should come and fight you. If you get, I would join you to fight somebody else that is fighting you, and when we are done with that person, we are going to fight each other. So it was just beautiful to see the relationship that, you know, she had with her brother in a different light. Another thing I want to mention is I get the fact that, you know, for stories we want to give a kind of comedy aspect of it, but I don't know how this is going to sound, but at a point I felt that some of the things that Femi was doing was exaggerated. I don't know if that was the idea or if that was the direction they wanted to follow in the movie, but for me it was exaggerated, especially the part where he and Kola were talking and like trying to get information on what his wife was doing, her whereabouts and things like that, and then he laughed and like laugh, you know, when you laugh and you hit somebody, and like that's your boss. You don't laugh, no matter, you don't laugh and hit your boss, and no. So for me that was a no. Overall, after everything, I actually believe that it's a good movie. It's a good watch. If you have 2 hours and 30 minutes to spare, you know, you can watch it. And like I said earlier, I really loved some of the issues that they raised in the movie, and that's all. I know I'm ending it abruptly, but that is all. So thank you so much for, you know, watching and listening to me. Let me know if you've seen the movie. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you've not seen the movie, let me know if you are going to see it, you know, and then let's just keep the conversation going on in the comment section. You know, like I always say, don't forget to like, don't forget to share, don't forget to comment, and don't forget to click the subscribe button, and I will see you in my next one. Bye bye.